I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera. We're sponsored by The Human Being in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm excited to be here with Ranger Justin with the Oregon State Parks Department. Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Thanks for joining me today. One of my absolute favorite things. So the smile's never going to leave my face because we're here at the Depoe Whale Watch Center, which is my home away from home. I absolutely love this place. Tell us a little bit first about yourself and what you do.
My name's Ranger Justin, and I've been with Oregon State Parks for about 2.5 years now. Being a park ranger, I have a variety of duties, but one of my favorite is definitely being both a part of the upcoming Winter Whale Watch Week and then just running the Whale Center in general. It's a really fun and unique place to be.
So tell me a little bit about what you do as a park ranger here.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. So I am based out of Beverly Beach State Park. So sometimes I'm running the campground. Sometimes I'm out, just taking care of our roadside parks, tree work, interacting with guests. And then again, one of my favorite parts is the interpretive portion, which the Whale Center is a big part of. So.
And let's talk about the Whale Center. How long ago was it, do you know, that the Parks Department took over the Whale Watch Center?
I don't have the exact date off the top of my head. We have had it for a while.
It was a while.
Yeah, definitely it's a neat building, so this is considered a historic building. And in this place, there was a restaurant, which did get demolished, and then they built this basically roadside stop that basically served as basically a rest stop and gift shop for quite a while. It's changed hands a bit through time, and we were able to acquire the building and convert it into this interpretive free state park.
And just was recently, in the last few years, I think just prior to COVID, if memory serves, was refurbished itself, right?
Yes. COVID did give us a chance to kind of, take a pause, reevaluate what we wanted this center to be, and we were able to put in a lot of new interpretive panels and flooring and really, kind of spruce the place up. So. And
let's talk about Whale Watch Week.
Yeah, so we're really excited. So the dates for that are going to be December 27th through the 31st. The times will be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And essentially what Whale Watch Week is we're going to be watching the migration of the gray whale. And so all summer and fall, our gray whales have been feeding up in Alaska for the most part. We do have a small group that we call our resident whales.
I know they don't like it when we call them that.
Or the Pacific Coast Feeding Group. Yes. So our Pacific Coast Feeding Group or resident whales have for the most part kind of started heading south already.
Oh, okay.
So the ones that we're watching is more like 19,000. So the vast majority have been up in Alaska feeding in their feeding grounds essentially, and they're getting ready for calving. And so they're going to be departing from their feeding grounds, traveling all down the west coast, down to Baja, California, down to Mexico.
Wintertime, they're heading south.
Heading south.
Okay.
And we'll basically be tracking them anywhere from 1 to 5 miles offshore, so they are going to be a little further out than when we watch our summer fall resident whales. So we're going to be looking a little further out, and we are just going to be kind of tracking their spouts as they head down. And as I said, there's quite thousands of whales coming down, and so we're going to be helping people. We're going to have volunteers and rangers at 15 locations from all the way from the north end of Oregon all the way down to the south point. And it'll be a time where visitors can come and interact with volunteers and rangers. If we're seeing whales, we're going to help you spot them. And even if we're not seeing whales, we're going to be talking about them.
You're going to learn about them.
We're going to be talking about them. They're really amazing animals, and they're right here in our backyard. We have whale watching almost year-round off the Central Oregon coast, so it's a great spot for whale watching. So it's going to be a fun time. Really excited to have people out for it.
Now, right now during the winter months, of course, the ocean can get a bit choppy.
Yes, including today.
Yes. In the height of king tides right now.
Yeah.
So is it harder to spot the spout?
Yes, we will be somewhat limited with Mother Nature. So if we have extremely rough oceans, rain, and wind, it's going to be quite difficult to spot the whales out there. We will be doing our best at locations such as the Whale Watch Center here in Depoe Bay. We have a little bit of extra help with a high zoom camera, and so we're going to be scanning the horizon line with our high zoom camera, hopefully helping us even on some of those difficult days. But that's the winter whale watch. You never know what the Oregon coast is going to do, and so we're kind of at that mercy.
That's the beauty of it,
It
though,
is,
right?
it is, yes.
And there's other animals that folks can see and other
absolutely.
wildlife.
Yeah.
I noticed when you come into the Whale Watch Center, you've got a big whiteboard. Tell us about the spottings that you have.
Yeah, so there's a variety of wildlife off our coastline. We're not just watching whales. So we have a variety of different seabirds, birds of prey. We're going to have pinnipeds like harbor seals and our California sea lions, stellar sea lions, and even other cetaceans. Sometimes we get visited by the orca, which, yep, everybody loves those guys. And then even maybe humpbacks or even rare blue whale sightings off the coast. There's other species as well, too. Although primarily we will be looking for those grays. You never know what's going to show up.
That's phenomenal. And tell us a little bit more about what folks can expect when they come and visit here at the Whale Watch Center.
Yeah, so the Whale Watch Center, again, it's quite a unique state park. So coming in here, we're pretty devoted to, education about our whales off our coastline. It's usually staffed either with, a ranger or volunteers, or both some days. And so we'll have people available to both help spot whales as well as answer questions about the whales.
And it's 2 stories, so you can get up pretty high to see and inside and outside in case the weather is not cooperating the way we like.
Yeah, that is another nice bonus. We will have a few indoor locations for the Whale Watch Week. So we'll have our Whale Center here in Depoe Bay. Just a few miles south, we're going to have Otter Crest, which will have a historic gift shop that will be opened up for the Whale Watch Week for another indoor location. And then also Cape Perpetua is going to be allowing us to use their visitor center as well for some days of Winter Whale Watch Week. So.
And I know it's not state parks, it's BLM, but Yaquina Head is another amazing
beautiful spot. Absolutely, yes. And another partnership where they allow us to have a winter whale watch and spring whale watch site up there at the lighthouse as well.
So folks should look for the signs, the sandwich board signs that say whales spoken here, right?
We will have some sandwich boards set out there.
As long as the wind doesn't
yes,
take them away.
Another unpredictable aspect there. You can go onto the Oregon State Park website or orwhalewatch.org. And they will have lists of the sites available as well too, just in case you want to plan to make sure you don't miss your turn off for any of the locations.
And if for some reason you can't make it here, you have video footage, right?
We are. So if we get some cool stuff, we're going to be recording. Here at the Whale Watch Center, we do keep a pretty wide catalog over the complete year-long watching of these whales. And so on days where we just can't see out there, we will have lots of videos of these gray whales that you can come see that were filmed right there on that location. So.
All right. Well, Ranger Justin, should we go take a tour of the Whale Watch Center?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
All right. Come with us. Let's go. All right, so we are outside the Whale Watch Center with Ranger Justin, and we're going to go, and he's going to give us a wonderful tour of the Depoe Bay Whale Watch Center so you can see what it's all about when you come to visit. All right, lead the way, sir.
Come on in. Welcome to the Whale Watch Center. So this is our interpretive facility where we're pretty focused on the education and interpretation of these whales. So we are staffed by some wonderful Oregon State Parks volunteers.
Welcome to the Whale Center.
So my friends tend to tease me, so you've heard the term, oh look, a squirrel, from people who are easily distracted. I am the one that says, oh, a whale.
You are not alone. It's pretty amazing sometimes this place literally erupts in cheers and just joyous laughter. I mean, the whales just trigger something in people, so you're not alone with these. They bring a lot of excitement to people. They lean over here, which is a real neat thing for people to see. see up close and touch and feel, it's made out of keratin, just like your hair and fingernails, and that's what these whales are using to filter out the small food that they eat.
Yeah, they eat mice and shrimp mostly, right?
Yeah, right here in Depoe Bay, that is the primary prey item that they like to feed on. Gray whales are somewhat opportunistic. They will feed on a variety of little critters, but you're right, mice and shrimp is definitely what draws them into Depoe Bay here.
And those are usually found on the ocean, near the ocean floor, right?
Yeah, they tend
so they
to-
kind of scoop up and then spit out the
Definitely
water?
somewhat correct. So they do have a few different types of hunting techniques that they will use, and the one you're describing is very unique to the gray whale. They're the only ones that can sediment feed, and when they're sediment feeding, they're primarily looking for what's called amphipods.
Oh, okay.
They'll actually filter out that sand and mud and get little critters right out of it, and only baleen whale is able to do that. The mysid shrimp does congregate down at the seafloor around the base of the bulk kelp out here in Depoe Bay. So when you're on the central coast and you find good areas where you see those kelp beds out there during the summer and fall, that's a good spot to look for whales feeding.
And it's kind of like after they spit everything out, they kind of take that great big tongue
Yeah.
and lick everything off the, kind of like licking peanut butter off the
It's
roof of
pretty
your
cool.
mouth, right?
So if we take a look at our baleen, so you'll have your outer plates and then you'll have your inner plates, and you'll notice the outer plates are not quite as dense as the inside, so when the whales get a big mouthful of water or sand and sediment, they'll lift their big tongue, that'll push the water and sand out, and then the small organisms will get stuck right in here, and then, as you said, they'll take their tongue so they can swallow.
Because I think it's really amazing that animals so big feast and are able to live upon such small organisms.
Very, and when you consider the size of a gray whale, anywhere from 35 to 45 feet long, they're eating about 2,000 pounds a day of an animal that's about the size of a grain of rice. And so
That's amazing.
They're pretty busy out there during their feeding season. Just incredible.
So let's talk a little bit about their journey south right now.
Yeah. So it's about a 2 to 3 month journey for these whales. Again, feeding all the way up. And if you want to take a look, I've actually got a diagram here of the migration. So they're going to be up here feeding in Alaska and just traveling the west coast all the way down to these calving bays and lagoons down in Mexico. And so one of the largest migrations of any animal, just absolutely incredible. They just kind of slowly keep on trucking. They're not a real fast moving animal. They're moving probably anywhere from 3 to 5 miles is about their top speed there. So they're really just kind of slow trucking the whole way down.
Where they're full because they've just been eating up in Alaska.
Yeah.
But on the trip during the spring, summertime, there's a little more urgency because they're hungry. They
Very
don't
hungry.
eat when they
Yes.
are down south,
Another
right?
amazing fact about these animals is they actually go into a predominantly fasting mode as they travel. And by the time they get down to these warm lagoons, scientists have not found any type of food source for them down there. So while they're down there in those lagoons anywhere from 2 to 3 months, there's no food source for them down there. Between the migration and being down in those lagoons, some whales will lose up to 30% of their body weight just from the migration. So.
And then moms are nursing, so.
Yeah, mom is quite a tough cookie. She travels all the way down to Mexico, gives birth, nurses her calf, and then has to travel all the way back up before she starts getting to eating again.
Now, do they stay together in family pods, kind of like the orcas do?
Surprisingly, gray whales are actually a solitary animal, so they do not form tight family units. When we see multiple whales, like Depoe Bay, for instance, when you come here in the summer and fall, you may see, 5 or 6 whales sometimes feeding at the same time, but it's kind of more they're at the same restaurant, but not necessarily sitting together. So you will sometimes see them congregate together, but they would not be considered a close family unit. During the migration period, a lot of them start leaving near the same time. So the winter migration kind of peaks in about 1 to 2 weeks off the central coast here, and then most of them will have already gone by. So they do kind of move somewhat as a group, but not a tight family unit. You may sometimes see 3 traveling very close together, and that could be a mating triad. So you'll oftentimes have a female with 2 males, and they've already kind of started pre-coupling up. on the way down to Mexico.
So the males do travel down south
Yeah.
as well. There's not,
Yeah.
the women don't go down and party with the guys and then leave, right?
No, they're all going down for the most part. The only ones that may not join this migratory pattern might be the sexually immature or juvenile whales. They may not end up making the migration pattern. And so when you do see a whale in the off season here on the Central Coast, there's a good chance that it might be an immature juvenile that's just not doing the migration pattern. And so again, another one of those, you could see a whale any time of year. But yeah, the males will be going down because some females are currently pregnant. And so again, they will be traveling down to give birth this year, and some will basically conceive during this time of year. And so it's, the males, females, they all go down there. Some will be participating in mating, and some will be calving down there.
And then they come back during the spring, and that's when they have the babies with them.
Yes. The moms and calves will stay pretty close together until about the end of summer. So you will have an opportunity to possibly see mom and calf traveling together in the spring, and then really cool in the summertime here on the Central Coast, you'll oftentimes see moms with calves very close in feeding in the kelp beds here.
Is it also a way for them to get away from predators?
So that is one of the primary driving factors that biologists think that they make this trip down to these lagoons to try to avoid predation from orca. Orca are the #1 predator of gray whales when they're calves, so they do take a pretty good chunk out of the calf population every year. What they found is that orcas just really don't have a good way to hunt down in these lagoons. They're shallow, so they're often, orcas use kind of a 3-dimensional attack pattern, and they're really just regulated to coming straight on in those lagoons. Plus, you've got a huge gathering of some pretty good and tough mom whales that are going to be making sure those orcas don't get their calves. So.
Right, and that's really important for them. And it also, there's some of the adults, our resident whales, our local whales, have patterns on them that have made them identifiable to us, right?
Absolutely, really cool. These gray whales in the Pacific Coast Feeding Group, a lot of them have nicknames that they'll give and then an ID tag from the university, so that's how we're able to tell that these are the same whales visiting us every year because of their distinct patterns.
All right. Anything else, Ranger Justin, that you would like to add as we wrap up here?
Just really excited for our Winter Whale Watch Week. I hope you guys can make it out. If not, our Whale Center is open most of the year. We'll be closing January, February, but the rest of the year we are open.
Oh, what are the hours and days that you're open here at the center?
Our Whale Watch Center is open Wednesday through Sunday from 10 o'clock to 4 p.m.
All right, wonderful. And again, you can find more information online?
Yeah, you can visit us on our state park website or go to orwhalewatch.org for more information on the Winter Whale Watch Week or just the Whale Center in general.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with us today on Coffee with Kiera. Again, we're sponsored by Human Being in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101. Lincoln City, you can find them at the north end of town on the west side of the highway next to TLC Credit Union. I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for watching Coffee with Kiera.